Hi, I'm Joanna Britt. I'm the chair of the social ministry team here at Augsburg. This is the team that works to create and support all the ways that we love our neighbors beyond the walls of our church. On Fridays during Lent, we'll be sharing videos with you that tell the stories of some of the social ministry partnerships. We hope that these brief videos are a reminder that even while we're apart, God is still at work in us. This week we focus on our partnership with City with Dwellings. Thanks for all of the ways that you support this partnership through your prayers and your support. Here's a little background about our partnership.
City with Dwellings started about 6 years ago as a nonprofit, but we have been on the ground working since 2013. Augsburg was one of our first churches to open an overflow shelter in response to the big need for overflow. And it was through those relationships at the overflow shelter that the wider work of City with Dwellings was founded. We began to build relationships with people and realized that the people that were experiencing homelessness in Winston-Salem, while yes, they needed shelter, they needed food, they needed clothing, they needed people in their corner. And that's who City with Dwellings is. We are the people in the corner with the people experiencing homelessness. We are the people that stand with them when they're in hard times. We're the people that help them make the next steps. We're the people that offer them those basic needs, but more importantly, we offer relationship. And through our eating together in our shelters, we have shared stories. And now the person that you see on the corner is not just another person waiting for a handout. You know the person's name, you know their story, and you know that they matter to you and you matter to them. One thing I have loved over the years about the work that City with Dwellings does in our homeless community is we work really hard to build relationships. And so while it's easy to see how people in our position can come in and help people who don't have homes, what we learn is that actually we're the people who are helped. Our world is made wider, our hearts are made wider, and our arms are made wider, and we're able to embrace the people in our community. So when we hear these stories on the news about the tent city, we know that those are people, those are humans, those are children of God that live in that tent city and that need our care. They don't just need our handout, they need our hearts and they need our lives to intersect with their lives. And that's what City with Dwellings does. I'm honored today to be here at Augsburg with John Collins. He was with Augsburg at the Overflow shelter long before I was with y'all.
From starting the Augsburg's participation in the Overflow shelter our first year in 2013, really what we were concerned about at that time with our volunteers was process and procedure, and how we operated the shelter. How are we going to get through each night? What are the things we need to do to make Augsburg safe? And I think we really kind of operated in this mode for a year or two without really considering the service we were providing. Yes, it's our duty to help all of God's children, but beyond just providing a roof over somebody's head for one night, what is the larger goal of the shelter? The concept we gradually began to be introduced to with City with Dwellings was this idea of community. How do you help people out of a bad situation, whether that's homelessness, joblessness? You gradually, once you get comfortable with doing the work of the shelter, you focus in on the fact that these people are individuals and they all have very different needs. And that's kind of what this idea of community with City with Dwellings is. We gradually learned what the different populations of the less fortunate community were. We learned through our partnership with these other organizations that City with Dwellings kind of sits on top of, how we can better serve Winston's whole community rather than just the limited population of the shelter that may have been coming into Augsburg. And you gradually, over a process of years, begin to see, how this, whether that's getting people into housing, getting people jobs, reducing the rate of our recurring homeless population. These are some of the things that we see how City with Dwellings begins to help. Another good thing I think the partnership with City with Dwellings leads you to experience is cooperation, first and foremost among the downtown churches. Only through the City with Dwellings partnership, basically, got new volunteers or volunteers that we wouldn't have seen on a regular basis because of Augsburg's participation from different Moravian churches, from the downtown churches. And I feel like it was almost a way of reestablishing some of that partnership with folks that you wouldn't have otherwise engaged with. Indeed, this is kind of what Augsburg used to do in the early 1980s when the homeless shelter duties were rotated only among the downtown churches.
One of the things that I've found to be so special about City with Dwellings is that not only is it the relationships formed in Overflow shelters, but at the community center there at 520 Spring Street, just 1 block away from us across Broad. And that 520 Spring Street address isn't just the location of the building of the community center, but for so many, it's also their address. It's so powerful to go in and see the wall of mailboxes and to see that people experiencing homelessness actually have a place to receive important letters from the government, from family, from whoever needs to reach out to them. And just thinking about how much we take for granted having an address, that was powerful to see that. When the pandemic's over and we're able to go back over there again, I highly recommend you go check out the great facility that they have. And there's always something to do and volunteer over there, whether it's clerical or sorting, or they always have something to do. Beyond our shelter, we will continue to be a full partner with City with Dwellings. We'll continue to explore how we can support other programs they do, continue to offer our financial support. And then we're excited about the day when we can have guests back to our campus and to be able to share in that important part of our ministry together. So thank you not only to John and Katie, but to the men and women who've been our site coordinators over the years, our volunteers, our cooks, just there to provide a sense of love and support across all the generations of Augsburg. And it is a powerful, powerful connection. And we look forward to continuing our partnership with City with Dwellings. Peace be with you.